Happy Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to the first official day of class for Health Science 2. So today we're going to be talking about standard number 1, which is understand employability skills for healthcare professionals. And we're going to be specifically talking about objective 1.01, understanding the characteristics and attributes of healthcare professionals. And it says part 1 because we're actually going to break this PowerPoint up into 2 different days, a part 1 and a part 2. So today, I want you to realize that by the end of this class, you should be able to discuss the characteristics and attributes of healthcare professionals in order to determine what type of characteristics are important for my desired career choice. Basically, what that means is we're going to be talking about the things that go into becoming a healthcare professional. We're going to be talking about job seeking skills, those characteristics, your personal appearance, all types of things that relate to what makes you a good healthcare professional. And we're then going to discuss why those are important in your desired career field and specifically what type of characteristics you think are important in your desired career choice. So today we're going to be talking about 3 different things to start off with. Healthcare decision making. So what types of decisions do you have to pay attention to when you're deciding what you want to do as your career? So the first thing you need to consider are your abilities. And this is the competence in an activity or occupation because of one's skill, training, or other qualifications. Now, as a high school student right now, you may not have that many trainings or qualifications or even education to say that you can really become a healthcare professional, but you're going to be gaining some certifications through this course. You're going to be gaining lots of hands-on skills through this course, as well as other opportunities for training outside of the classroom that will help prepare you for that career decision. So you really want to think about what are your abilities. Next, you want to take into consideration your interest. Obviously, whatever career choice you decide to do beyond high school, you want it to be something you're interested in. So something that concerns, involves, or draws the attention of or arouses the curiosity of a person is the definition of an interest. For example, if you're not interested in the medical field, then this might not be the correct career path for you. If you're interested in science and math and things like that, then you may lean towards pharmacy. But if you're interested in more hands-on care, then you may lean towards nursing or physical therapy. And if you're interested in really furthering your education, being in school for a little while, then you may consider going for one of those higher level jobs like a veterinarian, a dentist, or a physician. So you really have to consider your abilities and your interests. And the third thing you want to consider when deciding what career you're interested in pursuing are your values, things that hold worth or merit or importance in your life. These are the ideals that may be imparted on you by society or social media or your family, but you were raised around these values and morals, and you don't realize how much they really play into your healthcare decision making. So you have to take into consideration all 3 of these things. Oh, I need to find how to click the next page. There we go. Okay, next you need to think about your employability skills. Are you someone who tends to be on time and prepared? Are you good at having a positive attitude? These are all things you have to consider. And if you already know right now that they are areas you might struggle in, then you're going to want to work to improve those before seeking employment. So some really good employability skills and things that your employers are going to be looking for are reporting to work on time, being prepared to work when you arrive. So, if I came in the morning and I made it here on time, but then I had to spend another 15 minutes getting my life together and getting things ready, then that's not really me being prepared. If I'm making copies last minute down the hallway and I forgot my lunch, and so then I'm worrying about having to leave in the middle of the day. All of that are things that you need to think about. You also need to try to have a positive attitude. Of course, we're not all going to have a positive attitude all the time, and sometimes we have bad days, but your employer really wants to see you trying to give off a positive attitude most of the time. If you always come to work and you're always negative, then that's going to reflect poorly on you as an employee. This is a typo. It says be efficiency. That should say be efficient. Be efficient and willing to learn. So efficient just means that you're able to complete the same task as other people, but maybe more quickly or more accurately due to your own system and way of doing things. You want to be efficient. You don't want to take the longest route to get something done. And willing to learn just means that we're always learning, we're always growing, we're always changing, and you need to be willing to adapt and learn as well. And then, of course, practice teamwork. There are very few jobs in the healthcare field that do not require you to participate in a team. Healthcare is a major team-based field. You are working with other healthcare workers, you're working with the patient, their families, their physician. You're a team of people taking care of a patient, and it requires really good teamwork skills to be able to accomplish things in the healthcare field. So how can you find healthcare jobs that you're interested in, or even just places to work? So some job sources, newspaper ads, that's a little outdated nowadays. I don't think many of you go and find a newspaper when you're looking for a job, but you may find them in newspapers still if you're interested in looking. Your friends and your relatives may hear of jobs somewhere and let you know about them, or maybe wherever they work, they have a spot open. Job fairs and the internet are going to be your biggest places to find job sources. Websites like Indeed and Glassdoor and JobHook are all really good examples of internet sources where you can sign up and look for lots and lots and lots of different jobs all in one place. School counselors, we have school counselors here that do actually keep in touch with community members that know about different jobs that are opening up. And once you go on to college, your school advisor at your college is usually really good about sending out emails, letting you know, hey, there's a job open in this field that I think you might be interested in. And then, of course, employment agencies. There are employment agencies in every county that are responsible for helping unemployed individuals seek employment. So they will work with you, find out your skills and abilities and values, and put those to use to find you a job that's going to fit what you're looking for. And then places of employment, when you're looking at the healthcare field, you're going to be looking at hospitals, private clinics, home health agencies, traveling agencies, and schools and universities. But there are even more that we're going to learn about this semester that are other places you might be seeking employment within the health science field. Some strategies on completing a job application. So here's just some tips and tricks. If you've never completed a job application, it can be a little overwhelming. It's a lot of information, and depending on whether you're doing it like hard copy on a piece of paper or whether you're completing it online is going to change your experience. So a job application is just a form or a collection of forms that are provided to your potential employer indicating your interest and qualifications for employment. It lets them know what kind of skills and interests you have and why you're interested in the job, and if you're qualified for that job. They typically also ask for a lot of contact information and maybe even a reference list so that they can call other people to see if they should hire you. So always read the directions before you write. Every job application is different, and they may specifically want you to write certain pieces of information in different slots. So read the directions carefully. If you're handwriting it, make sure that you print very neatly, or if you are typing it on the computer, that you spell everything correctly. Make sure you fill out each item completely and neatly. So don't leave anything blank if possible, unless it's like apartment number and you don't live in an apartment, then of course you can leave that blank. But for the most part, you should be filling out every single blank on that job application to the best of your knowledge. Be sure that all the information is correct and truthful. They will go back and they're going to be able to find out if you lied about anything. So it's really important that you are truthful on your application. If you don't have any work history, then don't make up a job and put that you did. Or if you haven't gone to college, don't write down that you went to DCCC for 3 years. You need to be truthful about what you're putting on here. And make sure before you click submit or before you hand it in that you always proofread the completed application. You want to make sure that all the information is filled out completely. You may have accidentally just skipped a line or you left a letter off your name, so you really need to make sure all of that's right. So once you've turned in a job application, you might want to go ahead and prepare a cover letter and a resume. You're going to be preparing these for this class here in the next week. So a cover letter is a letter of introduction, and it's usually the first thing you're going to put on your digital portfolio, or if you have an actual hard copy of a portfolio. And I'm actually going to get mine out for you. So right here is my professional portfolio. Now I haven't updated it in about a year and a half, so I definitely need to go through and update it. But on the front page, it just says University of North Carolina at Charlotte graduate, because that's where I graduated from. Emily Page Essex, certified exercise physiologist, CPR instructor, and lifeguard. These are some of the things that I have accomplished, and I want them to be right there on the front page for them to see. It also says that I have a BS in exercise science and I have a public health minor, and my contact information all on the front page. The very first thing that you're going to see when you open this up would be your cover letter, okay? So in mine, I've taken out the cover letter because I had to use it for something else, but the front page would be your cover letter, and then your second page would be your resume, which is what this is, okay? So your very first page will be your cover letter. Your cover letter should be typed on a good quality paper. Depending on what kind of job you're applying for, mine is just on regular printer paper, but then I put it in a sheet protector, but you may also choose to get like some really nice cover letter paper from like Staples or Office Depot. I almost said Home Depot. Office Depot. You're going to make sure that you've used the correct spelling and grammar. Always use spell check before you finish typing these things. And then the things that you're going to be including in the cover letter are the purpose of the letter, interest in the position, qualifications for the position, and contact information. Now, when we get to the assignment later this week where you actually create a cover letter, I'm going to go into each of these in more depth, and I'm going to actually show you my cover letter and break down each part for you. The next thing, like I said, would be your resume. So that's what this is here. Your resume is just a document that kind of states all of your background and your skills in like a bullet point formation. It should include any kind of personal identifying information that you need to tell them, like your contact info, your name, that kind of stuff. It should have your career objective. So on mine, it said, this was before I knew I was going to be a teacher, but it said a certified exercise physiologist and graduate from the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, seeking a long-term career opportunity within the exercise science or health science field with opportunity for career growth. I am passionate about improving health and wellness in all ages throughout the implementation of physical activity, lifestyle change, motivation, and education. Quick little blurb stating what my goal is and why. You should also have a section that lists your education, a section for your skills, a section for accomplishments, a section for any work experience or field experience, which all of this we'll talk about in a couple of days when we start building our own resumes, as well as a reference list. So some people choose to include their references on their resume, and some people may choose to have it separate. So mine was a separate list, as you can see here, but if you have room on your resume, which most of you probably will, you can definitely include that on there. The links should be no more than one page. Now, I cheated, and I think this is totally okay, because one page is not very much space once you've gone to college and you've taken lots of courses and you've had several different jobs. It just doesn't all fit on one page. So I actually did one page front and back so that I could get more in there, but it's still one piece of paper. So I definitely think it's okay for you to use a page front and back, but I would never go more than that just because then it gets to the point where they don't want to read all that information. Okay, next, we're going to talk about your job interview. So once you've turned in your application, you've turned in a cover letter, and you've turned in a resume, and they look at all of this, then they determined, hey, we want to interview this person. So an interview is simply a conversation where questions are asked by the interviewer to get information about the person being interviewed, and oftentimes it's also an opportunity for you to ask that employer some questions as well. Some important things to remember are to dress professionally. So I always say you want to dress for the field. So if you're going into the health science field and you know for a fact like nurses wear scrubs, then by all means, feel free to wear scrubs to your job interview, or you can dress in like a business casual outfit. If you're going for a teaching position, then you are going to wear something that you would wear if you were teaching. So for me, that would be like my outfit today, okay? I'm wearing a little cardigan, a shirt, I have on some jewelry, some nice like trouser pants with flowers on them. And that's something I wear here to teach in. So I could definitely wear this to an interview and be totally fine. If you were applying for a job in construction, then you might want to wear something that would be more appropriate for construction. So just dress for the job that you're interviewing for. Carry all your required documents to the interview with you. This means you want to remember to take your license, your social security information, your contact information, contact for references. So if you have a reference list like in a binder, bring that. And again, photo ID. Understand the do's and don'ts of interviews and be prepared to answer questions. In a couple days, we're actually going to have a whole lesson about job interviews, and we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts and the difficult questions and some of the more common interview questions. And then we're going to talk about personal characteristics. So I actually have the definitions for all of these characteristics on a set of flashcards, which you're going to use for your practice later today. So I'm not going to give you the definition of each of these right now, but these are some personal characteristics that you are going to want to know and you're going to want to use. So you might want to pause here and go find those definitions and add those to your notes. And then the last thing we're going to talk about today, again, is professional appearance. So this is beyond just your interview. When you come to work every day, you need to make sure that your clothing or your uniform is neat, clean, and wrinkle-free. You don't want to show up to work looking like a slob. You also want to be wearing supportive and closed-toed shoes or whatever shoes are appropriate for that job, and make sure they're following dress code. And in most jobs, you need to have your name badge on. I don't currently have mine on me, but I have it right here. And when we go in the hallways, we are expected to wear this. Remember your personal hygiene. You need to make sure you're always brushing your teeth, taking regular showers. It's important in health careers to also keep your nails short and of a natural color. And the reason that we want to keep them short is because long nails can carry infection, and long nails also are at risk of ripping skin on your patients. So it's important to keep them short for your own protection as well as your patient's protection. You don't want to wear any perfumes or body sprays because those can cause like allergic reactions and are just uncomfortable. And then for your hair and your hair should be pulled back when you're working with a client or a patient to keep it out of your face so it's easier for you to see. It's not like, imagine if, there's a patient right here and I'm bending over trying to do something. My hair is all up in their face. So you don't want to have your hair in your face. Plus, again, hair can carry infections and pathogens and things as well. And then your jewelry should consist of only stud earrings, so not what I'm wearing today, and a wedding band if you are married. I do recommend that even if you are married that you take off your rings, just because in the healthcare profession, again, rings can carry bacteria. And also, like, for example, my ring is very sharp, and I do cut people on it all the time. I rip my clothes with it. So it's probably just best to get in the practice of wearing very minimal jewelry while you are on the job in a health science career. That is everything for our notes for today. So your next steps are going to be completing your daily assignments, and you'll be starting part 1 of that digital portfolio project. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. You can text me on Remind or email me, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great day, guys.